Before we get started today, I just wanted to point out a quick correction that was made in the code a couple of days ago. So one of our subscribers, Yalcin Kora, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, pointed out that when we did the admin layout and we added the select loader, what I did was I accidentally put select loader instead of selector loader. So I made a change in the commit to fix that. If you guys head over to the commit, then go to the commit that was made on the 19th of May and click fix selector loader bug. I went ahead and put it as an issue, and then I went ahead and changed it in here. And as you can see, I had select loader instead of selector loader. So that's just one quick thing I wanted to address before we get started today. So thanks again, Yalcin. Now, what I want to work on today, first thing I want to do is start working on this roles table that we have, because right now it's a link, but it doesn't go anywhere. So let's start working on that. If we head over to our text editor and we open up a new terminal, what I want for this is a controller so that we can have the controller, the route, and the page along with it. So let's see, do we have any controllers up here yet? It would be HTTP, controllers, admins, we do. Okay, so we'll just do PHP artisan, make controller, admins, because that's the folder that it's in, and then we'll say role controller, and then we'll make it resourceful, and we'll also add the model of role. Let that run. Now we can go ahead and close this up and then create the route. So we'll go to web.php, and then under here we'll create our first roles route. So it'll be route. We're going to prefix it with roles. We're going to give it a name of roles dot. It's going to be a group function, curly brackets, semicolon, and then we'll say route get slash. We need some open brackets, so role controller class. It's going to be the index function, and then we're going to name it index. Let's make sure that that's imported up top, and it is. Fantastic. So now let's open it up. Role controller. So then we're going to come down here to the index method, and then we're going to say return inertia render, and the folder is going to be admins roles index. Okay, and then we need to open up a bracket for an array, and in here we're just initially going to put some roles, and we're going to say role all. This is just temporary until we get our pagination up and going. Okay, so now let's go ahead and create this admin's roles page. So we'll come down to resources, JS, pages, admins, and we need to create the whole thing. Oh, this doesn't need a semicolon, but we can put a comma there. Okay, fantastic. So it'll be admins, then we'll say roles, index.view. Okay, let's go ahead and open up our other terminals just so we can see if there's an error in here. So the first thing we can do is add a template, and just do this just to see if we can see them. So we need our script tags, and then we need to bring in the prop of roles. So let's head back to the browser and see if we see these roles. So we'll go back, and then we'll go admin roles. Okay, so now we see our roles. So let's go ahead and start working on this page in here. So the first thing that I want to do is bring in the admin layout. So we'll have admin layout. Okay, we need to import it. Admin layout from at layouts, admin layout. Okay, and then we need our components down here. So components, admin layout. So let's make sure that we see that and that we're getting it coming in okay. So we'll go back, we'll refresh. Okay, great. Now we have our roles route. So let's head back to the text editor. And for our table layout, we are just going to be using a very basic design. If we take a look at the AdminLTE, I will keep this up here so that we can reference it. But we just used one of the, I believe it was a simple table and the responsive header one, and we just customized it to our own liking with the pagination and stuff, just to how I thought it might look good. So in the code, in the AdminLTE code, that would be under the pages, tables, and I believe it's the simple one. So that's what we're going to be basing our table off of. Okay, so let's head back and let's get started. So now in here, we can go ahead and open this up, and we're going to have a section with a class of content. Open that up. Under this, we're also going to have, well, let's just do this one first. It'll be quicker. So then we're going to have another div, and it's going to have class of container, fluid. And again, these are just Bootstrap classes. Okay, open that up. And then we're going to have another one with the class of row. And then in here, we're going to have another div with the class of call12, so that it extends across the whole page. Okay, and then we'll have another one, card. Open that up. And then in here, we're going to have another one for card footer, and another class of clear fix. And for now, I'm just going to put pagination links. So now above this card footer, we're going to have our first header class, so card header. And then we're going to have another class called card title. And then here we're going to put roles and permissions. This is actually going to be an H3. Under here, we're going to have a class for card tools. Okay, we're going to open that up. We're going to have a button with the type of button, and the class is going to be button info text uppercase, and then we also have to add a style of letter spacing 0.1 EM. Okay, and on this button it's going to say create. Let's see what we have and see if at least what we have already is coming through. So we'll go back and refresh. Okay, cool. We have our button, but we don't have the text. So let's see what's going on. Go back. Let's try it again because I think maybe it hadn't finished compiling. So we'll refresh it again. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna deactivate this preloader for a little bit just so that we can have a quicker upload. So we'll go admin layout. I'm just doing this. You don't have to if you don't want to, but it's just a little distracting to me. Close that up there. And then we'll just put a pause on the init. Okay. So we'll head back to the index page. We can close out this admin layout. And then now we can just shrink this card header up because we don't need it right just yet. And we have another class or another div with a class of card body, table responsive, and a padding of 0. Okay, open that up. And so now we have a table with a class of table, table hover, and text no wrap. Okay, open that up. So now we're going to have a T head. And we're going to have a T row. I think it's this way. Let's see. I think it's that way. Okay, so let's just say T row. Open that up. And then we have a TH with a class of text capitalize. I should probably get the extension for Bootstrap, but I don't really use it all that much. So role name. Okay, and then we're gonna have another one. Copy paste, capitalize. This is going to be the permissions because we need to have the permissions listed. And we need one more. Well, we need two more, I believe. So this one is going to be created. And this one is going to be capitalized, but it's also going to be text right. And it's going to say actions. Okay, so that's all for the body for now. I mean the head. So now we can do T body, T row. And we're gonna do a v-for loop in here. So v-for, we're gonna put some parentheses and it's gonna say role index in roles. The key will be index. So the first thing we need is a TD element. And then here we're gonna say role name. Bring this up a little bit. This we need to add. We're just going to say permissions in here so we can remember to add them in. So permissions. Okay, copy paste. Role dot created at. And then we need another one, so copy paste. This one is going to have a class of text right. And then we're going to have two buttons in here. So we can open that up. We'll say button with the class of button, button success, text uppercase. Okay, the style is going to equal letter spacing. I'm sure there's a Bootstrap-y way of doing it. I don't know Bootstrap well enough and I'm kind of too lazy to go look for it, so feel free. And this will be edit. And then we can actually copy and paste this. And then now the class will be danger so that it'll be red. And here it'll just say delete. So let's go ahead and take a look and see if we broke anything. So we'll go back, refresh. Okay, looks good. I want to give this a little margin left. So the delete button right in the class, we can just do margin left 1. Go back, refresh, and cool, looks good. So one thing I wanted to say too is if you want to capitalize these, you can do that as well. I'm not gonna, but you can. So before we get into the data or anything, I want to work on this create button so that we can get the modal to pop up. So let's head back. And before we actually get the modal to pop up, we do need to add the modal. So we'll come under the section element, and then we'll create a div class with modal and fade. And we'll add the ID of modal large. Open that up. And again, this is the same thing. If we look at the template and we go down to, where is it? I think it's UI elements, modals and alerts, then they have different ones that you can try out. You know, you just click one and they show you how it's done. And in the AdminLTE code, in the template that we downloaded, it's the same thing. So you just come down to pages, UI. Yep, pages, UI, and then modals. And then it's one of these. I think we're doing the default modal. Okay, so fantastic. So let's head back to the code and continue on. So now we're going to have another div with the classes of modal dialog, modal large, modal dialog centered. Okay, open that up. Then we need a modal content class. And we need a modal header. And then we need an h4 with the class of modal title. Okay, and in here we're just going to put title, because we're going to use a computer property for that. Okay, so under here, we'll just say button, and it's going to have the type of button. The class will be close, and then we'll add the function after. So in here, we'll just say span, and then we're going to add and times to give us that little x. And then next to the span right in here, we need to add aria hidden equals true. Okay, we'll come down under the header, and then we'll have another div with a class of modal body overflow hidden. We have another div with, actually this is going to be, well, okay, so Bootstrap has some classes that can go on the divs, and basically it's just making that div have it without it actually being that. So in this case, we are giving the div the class of h4, but we're not making it an h4 element, if that makes any sense, because in Bootstrap, h4 has this very specific type, a very specific font size, you know, all that good stuff, but it's not an h4. That's just how they do it. So then we're going to add a span. Here we're going to have a preview, and then we're going to give it some space so I can get that emit. So span with a class of text, capitalize. I don't like that. Okay, open that up. So here I'm just going to put form name, just so that I can remember to put it, because we don't have a form yet. So the next thing under this is we need a div with the classes of card and card primary. Okay, and we need a form. And we're not going to put any methods in here yet. We're just gonna leave it how it is for right now. Okay, open this up. And we need a div with a class of card body. Then we need a div with a class of form group. Okay, so the first thing we need is a label, and we're going to have a for equals role, and again the class of h4. See if that works. See if I broke it. Ah, hey, it works. So I guess I forgot to do that. h4. I got so excited. Okay, so role name. It's funny the things that amuse us. Okay, and okay, so input with the type text, class of form control. We don't particularly need it, but we'll put it in anyway. And the ID of role. Wonder if I can add a placeholder too. Let's try that. Placeholder equals role name. That one might have broken it. Okay, no problem. No worries. Role. Okay, now we can put placeholder equals role name. We can put, let's see. See, I don't want to put the classes, I don't want to put the form in, but you know what, screw it, we'll just do it. So we'll do v model equals form name. And we're also going to add a conditional class. And this one, we're going to need quotations curly brackets, single quotes, is invalid, colon, form, errors, name. And then we also need to add the rest of the input stuff. So autofocus equals autofocus, autocomplete equals off. And I'm not going to put required just yet because we are going to try out some validation as well. Okay, so we'll leave that there. Under the div, we're going to add another div, and this is going to be for our errors. So invalid feedback and margin bottom of 3. Okay, we're also going to add class equals curly brackets D block, and then form dot errors name. And then in here, we'll put curly brackets, form errors name. Okay, so for right now, we can go ahead and copy this. Give that some space. And this will be label for, we'll still need to bring in the permissions, but we'll do that in a little bit. So permissions, this will say permissions, and we are actually going to have a multi-select in here. So we'll just put multi-select just so that I can remember. Here we don't need the margin bottom. D block is fine. And this will be permissions. So now right at the end of the form tag, just above it, we can go ahead and add our modal footer. So then we need a class, modal footer, justify content or content between. Open that up. And then we'll have 2 buttons. The first one will be the type equals button. Class will be button, button danger, text uppercase. Okay, and then we also are going to add that style of letter spacing 0.1 EM. And this one is just going to say cancel. Okay, so now let's take this, copy paste. Now this type will be submit. Class will be info. This will just say text for now. So why don't we go down and create a data section? We'll go ahead and add in our form. Curly brackets, return, curly brackets. And then we'll add the form. And it'll be this inertia form. And then we'll need an ID, a name, and we'll have permissions here, but we don't have them just yet, so we'll just leave it like that, comma, and then we'll come down to the method section. And we'll create an open modal function. Okay, so for now, we're just gonna alert hello. So why don't we go ahead and hook up this open modal business. So let's see, we'll go up here and it should be up here. It'll be at click equals open modal. Let's go and see if that is going to work there. So we'll come back, go to our page, refresh, go ahead and click create. And now we got our little alert. So let's go back and really dig into this. Let's head back down to the method. And I'm just going to use the jQuery way of doing it. So it's going to be a $. I mean, since we already have it in, we might as well use it, right? So single brackets, hash, modal lg dot modal show. Let's go back. refresh, and hopefully with any luck, we should be able to see our modal pop up now. Okay, so now we can go ahead and click create. And now we see our modal. So now why don't we go ahead and change this title, and we'll also make a close modal function so that we can close out of this. Okay, so let's go back and let's see. Why don't we do this first? We'll do open, copy it and paste it, comma, close modal. This should actually be show, and this one will be hide. Okay, so let's go ahead up top, add these, and make sure that those work correctly. Okay, so the first thing is create is fine. Where's our modal? So this we can add create new role. On this close button, we can add at click equals close modal. And here we also need to add an aria label of close. Okay, and then if we go down a bit, right in our form, we also have a button to close it. So at click equals close modal. So now let's try these out and make sure that the open and close work correctly. So we'll go back, refresh. Okay, and if we click create, our modal opens just fine. Create a role, we can close that and make sure the button also works. Fantastic. Okay, so the next thing I want to do, and this will probably be the last thing I do for today, I want to also bring in the permissions that we have for these roles that we have up here. So if we go back to the text editor and head over to the role controller, we can do this a couple of ways, but how I'm going to do it is where we're bringing in the proper roles, we're just going to say with permissions, and then now I can just say get. Okay, so that should bring in the permissions that we have also. So go back, refresh, and I'll also open up the inspect tools so we can check that out. Okay, so now if we go to our view dev tools, and we see our roles that we have coming in as props. Let me open this up a little bit bigger. We see now that we have the permissions with it, and now we can also loop through them in our table. So we'll go back, go to our index, and if we go up to our actual table, let's see, permissions, this is where I wrote it. Okay, so let's open that up. Let's see, how can we do this? We'll leave that as that. We'll add a div with a class of dflex and flex call. This way we'll have a nice little layout of it. Open that up, and then we'll have a span tag. And then in here we'll just say v4 permission index in role permissions. We'll have a key equals index, and then in here we'll just put let's see, curly brackets, and then permission name. Okay, so let's head back to the browser and see if we can see that. We can open that up, close that up. Okay, that looks much better. We have all of our permissions for all of the roles that we currently have. And as you can see, user doesn't have any permissions. The last thing I want to work on today is the date. I want to condense that a little bit. Just I don't like the way it looks here, and we want to make it more user-friendly. So let's go ahead and open up the role model. And you see, this is the beauty of pulling out the model so that we can customize stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead and paste it down here, and we're just going to change the created at to the carbon date time PHP format. Okay, so now that should just come through the way we want it to. So we'll go ahead and refresh that. Fantastic. And that is much more user-friendly, and we even have this little hover state. I don't know how I feel about it yet, but we'll keep it for now. Okay, so I'm going to leave it here. in the next episode, we are going to work on bringing in that multi-select here, and we are going to work on this modal so that we can go ahead and create users. Okay, thanks for watching. I will make sure to put everything, all the code that we did today, I'll put up on GitHub, and I don't have any links for us today, so just the GitHub links. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.